There was I think it may have been Keemstar, I'm not sure, a big YouTuber.
Yeah.
Said the word I'm gonna pause here, and girl. Okay, I have to do a pause there.
Wait, really? You can't do them together?
Because the YouTube algorithm for tracking speech thought it was a racial slur.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because think about what that.
Oh, I put it together in my head.
That's why I said the letter
said it
E,
in my head, and I was like,
then I'm gonna
see.
pause and girl, as in female.
Yes.
Yes.
And that was enough, and
Yeah.
they got flagged because it came up in the captions.
What the heck?
Welcome to the world where robots don't quite understand.
Yeah.
Robots don't know what's offensive.
They don't know the nuance of being human.
That's right.
Robots.
Yeah, screw
What
you
if?
guys.
What if?
Whoa. Don't piss them off, Lydia.
I mean, yes, they're wonderful. Thank you,
What if?
robots.
Wait. What if what we're going through right now is like Skynet?
Skynet.
Yes,
actually
the AI has
taken over.
already taken over. The internet has become self-aware, and so it's feeding people all of these things to get them really angry, so they fight, and then it takes over.
I don't know.
I could see it.
The AI.
Maybe.
No,
Maybe
you know,
you're right.
you know what the scariest thing about AI actually is?
There's something even scarier?
It is.
Okay,
Yeah, that
so
we
tell me.
we created algorithms to serve us, and we've created a vortex that's flushing ourselves down the toilet.
Yep.
Good
So
for
here's
us.
the way I explained it before. It's like YouTube created an algorithm because they wanted to surface Game of Thrones. They said content that is longer than 10 minutes, that gets high retention, high engagement, that's the content we want to see. They looked at Game of Thrones and said, look at this. People watch on average the whole episode. They all give it positive remarks. So
They
we're gonna,
all smash the like button.
yeah, they do.
Ooh, yeah.
So what ends up happening? The content that gets promoted by the algorithm has nothing to do with good content. It's just whatever fits into these specific little notches. And then you ended up with these weird videos of the Hulk dancing with Hitler singing children's songs.
Yeah, what
I'm
the
not
heck?
exaggerating.
No,
No,
that's
yeah.
right. We did
It's
an episode
literally-
on
yeah,
it.
it's
That's
literally-
true, yeah.
That's what surfaced in the algorithm.
Craziness.
So think about how insane that is. And now I turn on Amazon and it's like, you should watch this movie, Escape from LA, which is a post-apocalyptic dystopian movie. And then I
Okay.
see Dan Bongino tweeting about
What?
Snake Plissken. And that's the character from the movie. And I'm like,
Snake Plissken.
did Amazon tell him to watch this too?
Maybe it
Definitely
did.
it did.
I gotta get
Yeah.
in touch with him
Probably.
Dude, I turned on Netflix and it was like, you should watch Contagion. And I'm
now.
like,
Agent?
I know why you're recommending me that.
Yeah.
Because
There's a pandemic.
somebody started watching it because of the pandemic, and then Netflix assumed people really liked the movie and started showing it to everybody. Then everybody watched it. Now everyone's got pandemic on the mind.
Yep.
And that's how we ended up manipulating ourselves. But the scary thing is, the algorithms were first created to be like a TV guide almost. But now we are being guided. There's no one in control of the algorithm anymore. It's just spinning us in circles, and everybody's going nuts. You watch videos on these you watch movies about these pandemics, and like we were talking about yesterday, people start viewing these fictional realities as like real potential realities.
Yeah, and that's the real cycle, is when they make that the new reality, then make a new story, because the new reality is now it's boring, and now it doesn't excite you anymore, because that's what their norm is. So they got to up the level, keep upping the level,
Upping the dosage.
upping the dosage.
That's
Yes,
right.
exactly.
Yeah,
The
tolerance.
Oh, man.
dosage, man. People
Until-
are addicted to it.
Until, you know what?
You're just left with hate. That's
I
what that's
really-
what we're seeing.
I
They're
really-
living on hate.
In all seriousness, I think what we're really dealing with is that we as humans have built these systems all around us, and now they're starting to, fall in on each other
Yeah.
like dominoes.
Yeah.
And maybe after whatever happens, there's like a cleansing, of like the chaos is washed away and something new emerges. I have no idea. But right now it feels like if it really does. You know what I think? It's a bell curve. There was a gradual.
Always the bell curve.
Well, it is, right?
No, you're right.
Look, it's a gradual incline of unified worldview. Very early on in human existence, you had weak communication, right?
Yeah.
So someone in some town 10 miles away had no idea what was going on 10 miles away from them until someone went and communicated and transferred that information. So the worldviews were actually separate. If you were to travel 1,000 miles to a different country, it was dramatically different food, different culture, different. Then communication started becoming unified, and we started going up towards the top of that peak where it's like unified communication and worldview.
And control.
And now we're on the back end. As the internet starts becoming more and more prevalent, people isolate themselves in the communities they choose.
Yep.
Whereas people used to watch the news, and the news would try to report what was happening because they wanted to reach a broad audience.
Or control the
Now
broad
people
audience.
choose what stories they read.
That's a good point.
So instead of learning about what's really happening, they specifically focus on
What they want to know?
what is Antifa doing,
Right.
right? And I think
or just whatever fits their narrative that makes them happy or keeps them angry or whatever it is. Well, their little bubbles.
Think about it this way. I think we are part of the problem. I think I am especially part of the problem.
Okay.
Because we talk about things we find interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And because of that, and because we find culture war interesting, we're more likely to be successful on YouTube.
Okay.
Which means we're more likely to be recommended to more and more people.
Okay.
Now, Facebook is worse because Facebook has the direct share mechanism. So it's 100 to 1,000 times fold more accelerated.
Yeah.
But as long as we and every other news outlet, and I think it's fair to say the news outlets take the brunt of the responsibility on this one because they're well funded and they employ teams of hundreds of people.
Yeah.
But so long as the algorithms prop up what we find interesting, then the only thing we'll ever watch is going to be, culture war stuff that shocks and scares people.
Yeah.
And then so now we're going to the back end of that curve where the unified view is starting to fracture again. Where we used to all agree on what was happening, now it's breaking apart and moving back to a world where everyone believes different things and different communities start emerging. It's not necessarily a bad thing in that capacity, but it does mean people are going to fight.
Yep.
And how do you have
I think we're going to see something happen this Saturday.
You think so?
Yeah, there's tension in there. It's been around for a while, and it's been building and building.
Gettysburg.
And they're going to Gettysburg, and it's it's a famous spot.
But here's a big
they're
problem.
announcing it. They're spreading the word.
Yeah, it's already been spread around.
It's not just like they're making a secret meeting and they're going to do it. They're announcing. They're shoving it down everyone's throat. We're going to go burn your flag on your Independence Day. So, F off. Yeah, F you. We're going to do it.
But now consider this. Here we are with about 34,000 people watching, and probably hundreds of thousands watch, the segment and the remaining clip where we mentioned Gettysburg. And then how many people are like, I'm going to go now? You know what I mean? Just simply because we talked about it, because we were interested in it.
Yeah.
And other people are interested in what we say. Now the message of Gettysburg is spreading. And what if we just created a self-fulfilling prophecy? What if no one was ever going to actually go to Gettysburg and they spread these memes around, but no one cared? And all of a sudden now we talk about it, and now all of a sudden, there it goes.
We have responsibility.
But it's not. That's an impossibility.
That's crazy.
Because I've definitely thought about this. Right? What responsibility do you have to avoid important stories and not tell people what's happening? I'm like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't withhold information from people. I don't believe you have the right to do that. If Antifa says they're going to Gettysburg to burn American flags, I think it's really important Americans know about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
But what if that contributes to the severity of what happens?
Yeah.
Maybe you can't think about that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, even today, they're saying, like, because I've been posting stuff on Twitter about Chaz is over. They cleaned out Chaz, and there's a lot of comments are like, how come I'm only seeing this? You'd think this would be like huge news.
Yeah.
Nobody's reporting it.
Yep.
And it's like interesting.
Little bits. But I think it is. Journalists report it.
Okay.
But it's whether or not the cultural institutions make it a mainstream issue. So you will find a news article that says Chaz cleared out.
Right.
But will you find Chris Cuomo ranting about it for an hour, or Don Lemon, or
definitely not.
Rachel Maddow? Think about what happened in Chaz with the 16-year-old getting killed.
They don't want to talk
Are you
going to
see that on prime time for any of these big cable shows?
Nope.
Tucker Carlson, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why his ratings are so high.
Yep.
Because he's actually talking about things that people find relevant.
He does, yeah.
And the other side is just, you know what, man? There are some political commentators that I feel like are sitting in the corner of the room, not paying attention.
Yeah.
And it's like we are all over on this other side of the room, and everyone's arguing about the riots, the chaos, the law, the statues. And then you have some of these commentators who, these are people I think are grifting. They know that if they stand for what's morally just, which is liberty, freedom, civil rights, they would lose their audience.
It's true.
Because the left is happy about what they're doing and doesn't want to hear bad things about it. The statues must come down. No. In Chaz, that kid was a murderer, they say. And I've seen the posts from the Antifa people. They're saying things like this kid in the vehicle was actually shooting at people. And it's like, you have no proof any of that happened. Why are you saying that?
Yeah.
Yep.
All we know is somebody killed this kid.
Yep.
So you have these...
That's their argument for everything that they do. They
justified.
not that it's justified. It's that they are just saying blank statements with no proof, no backing. Well, this is the case. What do you got to say about that? And it's like, well, I have all this proof here. And they're like, oh, well, I don't want to see that.
But not even...
This is the case. This is what it is.
But it's not even to that degree. In the case of Chaz, it's... We don't know what happened. All I know is a 16-year-old kid was killed by the Chaz security. Why?
Ripped all the evidence
Right.
out.
And then they say, I know what really happened. And I say, no, you don't. Neither do I.
Right.
But the point I'm bringing up is you've got these political commentators that know they can't take a principled stance. So I'm seeing posts from people where they're like, Donald Trump said what? And I'm like, no one's talking about that.
Yeah.
Like the journalists are talking about the statues coming down in Columbus and in Virginia. They're talking about the riots, the protests, COVID. And then there are some just political commentators that are like, well, I guess I'll just talk about Trump saying naughty words again.
Have you heard the expression, the adults are talking now?
Yes.
Because I really like that expression. It's a little condescending, but it's like, yeah,
A
we're
little-
not talking about that right now.
A little
Yeah,
condescending.
we're not talking about Donald Trump. We're talking about things that are actually affecting us in our like daily lives. Like,
And not only that's like, what is Trump doing?
nothing that bad.
It's like Bill Barr issued a statement on the clearing out of Chaz. The big cultural stories that so I follow a wide group of people. I follow news organizations. I follow left and right. And the most common discussion amongst most people is related to ongoing protests and COVID.
Okay.
There's some conversation bubbling up in the past couple of weeks among hardcore politicos who are more concerned about the Hill, like Capitol Hill.
Yeah.
And so they're talking about the Russian bounty thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this whole thing.
And then there are some people who just like, Orange Man bad. Trump said dumb things.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what?
I guess it's lowest common denominator anti-Trump stuff.
Yep.
You don't got to raise a finger, really. You don't got to talk about difficult moral questions. All you got to do is say, dude, did you guys hear that, like, Donald Trump is dumb? Like, can you believe it?
And I bet that would get plenty
Gets
of
clicks,
shares.
yeah.
Breaking news, Donald Trump is dumb.
Yep.
And
And it will.
orange. Yeah. look
I
at
mean,
that.
you go into Facebook and it's like, that's what I see. And I'm just like,
It's not relevant.
it's not warranted.
Like,
Like,
who
why?
cares?
Where's this information?
It's like
and
little-
it's not information. It's just a meme.
It's like if you've ever gone to like a trading card shop and like listen to little kids talk about Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like. There's like this naive, ignorant enthusiasm. No offense. I mean, if you're into a Pokemon card game or whatever, it's fine. The point I'm saying is like how little kids approach it. Like, dude, it's so cool. Like, my dad, he got me a Charizard. It's first edition. It was like $100,000. No, your dad. I swear, my dad got it. And then you take that mentality, and you go to these people who are talking about Trump. It's like, did you hear that, like, Donald Trump actually said, he said something about, like, how he likes white people? No way. Did he? He swear he's so dumb. And you're like, what is this? It's like, might as well be
cares?
grunting.
Seriously.
Yeah. Smacking the ground with sticks.
Trump bad. That's what they're doing. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's certainly, hardcore Trump supporters who are not all that bright. But I find when I was traveling around to the Trump rallies in the last election cycle, I did not come across... I would say 95% of the people I came across who were Trump supporters were like regular people that you talk to, and they'd go, so what do you do? I'd be like, I'm a journalist. Huh. Well, what does that mean? And then you talk, and I'd be like, it's like, oh, really? Oh, that sounds nice. You get to go to Trump rallies? I'm like, yeah, so why do you like Trump? And they would give you some very basic, bland reason, like, immigration's really important to me or whatever. And there'd be a guy be like, well, my factory shut down, and Trump was talking about that. But you go to the left-wing rallies,
Why do you not like him?
he's
Well-
racist.
Well, I was told not to.
He's racist.
Yeah.
Oh, that's probably their
That's
number
like
one
number
thing.
one.
Can't explain
He's so
why.
racist.
Yeah.
And then when you ask
Like,
him why,
what racist things have you done? I have to go.
Yeah.
you'll hear things that are like, in my experience, because I did go to a handful of, I went to a bunch of left-wing rallies as well, a couple Bernie events, and they'll give you reasons why they like Bernie. And that's
Okay.
the difference between the crony establishment Democrat people who are just like orange man bad and can't tell you what's going on,
Right.
versus the progressives who actually know what they want and will tacitly support the Democratic Party for the time being, or actually for the most part won't. I find that actually when you talk to a lot of the people who backed Bernie, they don't care about Bernie.
Nope.
They care about pushing the parties as far left as possible because they're socialists.
That's true.
Like if you look at the Project Veritas releases, some of these people seem to be very naive when it comes to
Some of them?
some of them are really smart. Some of
Okay.
them are manipulative and they're well read and they understand what they're doing because they want power.
Good point.
And
Yeah.
they're willing to do what they have to do to get it.
Okay.
And they'll manipulate stupid people to get it.
I think there's a smaller minority of that group that are smart than the ones that have no idea what they're doing.
So here's the way I see it. There's a large portion of what I would call the coalition voters,
Okay.
meaning politically independent, moderates, disaffected liberals, and conservatives, and many like diehard conservatives
Yeah.
who will support Trump. On the left, you have establishment Democrats who are completely naive and ignorant as to how politics work. And these are the people you'll see on Facebook who say things that make no sense. And you'll try and talk to them, and they'll be like, they'll just make things up. They literally just make things up.
Yep.
Then you have progressives who really want idealistic policies, and they're probably not well read enough to understand why some of these things don't make sense, but they have a decent understanding of at least their tribal, politics, like what they want and why they want it, but they don't understand how the machine doesn't make sense.
Okay.
So that's what I see. So I see a tendency among the left to have a fractured worldview. They support censorship and then complain when they get censored. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They say just pay for it. Just pay for school, and they don't understand how economics actually works.
It's like the mayor in Seattle. Yeah,
Right.
go have your summer of love.
Yeah,
but
that'd be nice.
The second you come to my block, you're done. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened.
I think there's a lot of conservatives who are very, very tribalist. Like a lot of Trump supporters who are just like whatever Trump says, even if it's even if he changes positions or. And then there are actually a lot of, interestingly, right now I'm seeing a lot of Trump supporters who are actually angry. They're angry with the Republicans. They're angry with Trump. Tucker Carlson's a great example. He just did a segment where he said that the Republicans keep offering up symbolic victories that are meaningless.
Yep.
What did he say? He was like, why should I care what was in the content of Peter Strzok's email or text messages? I don't care.
That's not a focus right now.
Yeah, how does that help
correct.
the working class?
Right, and this is what we're talking about too. Like.
Yep. So you have people who are very tribal and willing to accept symbolic victory.
Yeah.
Then you have the far left that wants tangible but pie in the sky things. And then you have people in the middle who, for the most part, have a general understanding of the nuance, the balance, and are desperately trying to calm everybody down within reason, or complaining about how crazy mostly the left is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we said it the other day when we were talking about the people who are in charge. It's like those are the people that want power. Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. So the people who are in the House, I did hear that.
Fireworks.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
I hope it was fireworks.
Well, I would like to think
that was
it's fireworks.
a firework.
That did sound echoey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a firework.
Anyway.
It's July 1st.
It's July 1st.
This all makes sense.
People are
Checks
proud
out.
to be American.
That's right.
They are gonna
Dude,
light fireworks.
I got to
Yeah.
stop you. The 4th of July would be the perfect day for something crazy. You know why?
Dude, shootings.
People would think it's fireworks.
Yeah.
People will have no idea what's happening. There could be gunshots going off and no one would call the cops.
I'll
Yep,
be
that's a good point.
upstairs if
What
anyone
were you
needs
saying
me.
about, they were saying they were going to go out on the 4th of July and shoot people or whatever?
That's what's going around. They're spreading that word. They're
That's scary,
going to
dude.
go around
Oh, my
and shoot people.
goodness.
No one will call the police.
But
No one will
everybody's
know.
armed now.
That's true.
They're
Yeah, but
gonna get
no one's
killed.
Scary.
no one's expecting it if black-clad dudes lurk through your neighborhood at night and you're in your backyard with your friends and family
Shooting
and
fireworks.
they take out a rifle and as a bang, no one will call the police. I heard a bang. The cop's going to be like, so you
You
heard
heard a
fireworks?
bang?
I don't think it was
Okay.
fireworks. It was probably
Okay.
fireworks.
Well, my uncle Larry here, he's bleeding to death now.
I mean,
I don't think that was
yeah.
fireworks.
No, I'm talking about the neighbors.
No, I know.
So you'll be panicking, being like, what happened? It's kind of dark out and someone falls down and you freak out and you say, help, something's happening, he's bleeding.
No.
But no neighbors will come to your aid. So what if you're by yourself?
Yep.
Sitting in your old Barca lounger that you got from a thrift store and you're watching reruns of 1994, Bulls, the glory days, and somebody, shoots you, no one will call anybody.
Oh man,
No one will be like, oh, another firework went
this
off.
is depressing.
We'll
I'm
see.
not saying I actually think anything's gonna happen, but when that bang,
I'm going to say what I've always said. There's a lot more people that are ready for these Antifa folks than they think.
then they think.
Than
but
the Antifa think. That's what I'm saying. The Antifa think that they've got everybody wound around their fingers so that they can do whatever they want, but they're going to have a really eye-opening experience when they finally run into the people that are like, I'm
So
just going to kill
suburbs,
you
for
if you
example?
come in our neighborhood.
so if you're
it's going to
sleeping-
happen.
if you're sleeping in your bed at 3 a.m,
Uh-huh.
and then somebody jimmies your
You
lock,
can
or
you can
picks your
give
lock.
me an example. I don't want to hear your example of how it could go. Sure, Tim.
How are you going to
That's great.
give me an example of everyone having an escape plan and a tactical strategy for when they have no idea when someone's going to show up to their house?
I was just telling you what I think the majority is. The majority of people they're freaking out. They were having dinner. They came out with guns. They're ready for it. People are buying guns flying off the shelves because of this. Because Antifa are killing people.
But you're talking about this tactical move on the 4th of July when everyone's distracted to go around shooting people.
And everybody can feel the tension in the air. Of course, there's going to be an example that someone can go at 3 a.m. and kill somebody. All right,
the problem
sure.
is you're acting like the people who are planning these murders wouldn't actually have a plan for it. Would be like, I'm going to randomly walk into someone's yard while they're barbecuing and start shooting. No, they're going to be like, everyone's on edge. I understand that, and I'll adapt my strategy accordingly.
Sure.
So anyway, the point is, we just heard a big bang,
I got really
and we were all like,
distracted.
ooh, what was that?
What was that?
And then I realized, I was like, whoa, that thing, you were saying there's rumors going around that these extremists are going to try and pull this off.
Yep.
Yeah, on the 4th of
Yeah.
July, no one's going to know. Because there's a viral story right now of this woman who was at a party, and someone dared her to go across the street and steal this guy's Nazi flag.
Mm-hmm.
And she did. And then he pulled out a rifle and shot her 4 times. And then she was found by the cops lying in the ditch. Crazy story. And one of the locals gave an interview, and he said, these are locals in a town that they have guns. And he says, we know right away if it was a firework or if it was gunshots. So, we just went out to see what was going on. And sure enough, the police show up and there's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So the lesson of that story is don't go on other people's property and steal their stuff. More
Yep.
importantly, this guy got arrested because you don't shoot someone who's walking away with a flag.
Yeah.
Which he did. And the guy's crazy in the first place. The other thing I was saying is, like, this story's nuts too, because, like, don't steal a flag from someone who's clearly a nutcase.
Yeah.
Like,
Good
the
point.
dude's clearly a psychotic fascist.
It's a good
Yeah.
point.
And you're like going to walk on his property in the middle of it was a town of like 100 people.
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they arrested the guy. That's for sure.
Seriously.
It's a horrifying story. But the reason I bring it up is that even the locals were like, we weren't sure if it was a firework or whatever.
Yep.
And that's interesting to me because I think people out in the country would have a better understanding, more likely to know, hey, that was a gunshot, right? So I guess
Well, some people have experience of what gunshots sound like. I know you do. I know
Yeah.
I do. So it's like I know what a gunshot sounds like. That wasn't a gunshot.
Yeah.
right, that was a loud bass.
Yeah.
If that was anything, the closest it could be was like a 44 millimeter. Are they 40 or 44? I always mix them up.
They're 44.
That was
I
that
think.
was
They're
definitely like
44?
Yeah,
some
it's
sort of like
The
a
tear gas
mortar,
canisters.
something.
Yeah, and the kids around here, they're always,
Yeah.
there goes again.
Yeah, there's fireworks going
More
off,
fireworks
guys.
going off. There was a funny post someone said because LA is canceling fireworks.
Mhm.
They were like, as I and my dog have been demanding, finally LA will be canceling fireworks. Or
Yeah.
something like that. Like my
Right.
dog has been demanding it.
So many dog owners hate fireworks.
I know.
They
You got to get them
hate
those. You got to get them those harnesses that are tight.
They're really snuggly.
Yeah, their harnesses they wear, they're weighted and they squeeze them, and it makes them feel not scared, I guess.
It does.
Interesting.
Yeah, for whatever
Never-
reason.
Never heard that.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
CBD.
But maybe the 4th of July just be a good old fun time, and maybe it'll be a good little day off. But there's going to be that full buck moon, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be exciting.
Yeah, full lunar eclipse. The moon's going to go out completely. Wow, whoa. That means
Yeah.
it's going to be pitch black
Gonna-
outside.
Yeah, that makes me real kind of nervous.
It'd actually be a good night for fireworks.
Oh yeah,
It'd
it'll
be a
great
good
night for
good-
anything.
It'd be a good night to lurk in the shadows and get away with some horrifying things.
Well, it's America's Day, and I have a feeling a lot of people are going to be exercising their rights on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Isn't today Canada Day?
Today
It
is
is.
Canada.
Hey,
Happy
Canada.
birthday, Canada.
Hey,
Hey, yeah.
congratulations, Canada.
On
I
being
hope
Canada.
you can be proud to be Canadian.
They're not. It's
That's
been
not true.
No, it's very embarrassing. They're putting up warning signs.
I
on
know
their statues
I know a
of
lot
their
of
leaders.
people that are proud to be Canadian.
Their
So
leaders aren't happy, which
Well,
makes me sad.
I heard it directly from Canadians.
Good.
There
There you go.
are Canadians that are proud to
No,
be
no trigger
Canadian,
warnings on
so-
their statues then.
Oh no, I saw those trigger warnings. There's
dude,
I
what
mean
the
the
heck?
SJWs are infecting everywhere. It's a
worse in
disease. It's
Canada.
spreading.
It's worse.
It's not surprising.
Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.